when those tectonic plates shakes or they actually rub with each other, as a result it leads to shaking of the earth crust on the ground. As a result, that phenomena or that incident is known as earthquake. Okay. Well, it creates seismic wave, so it can be prevented. How? Well, if we have an appropriate managing system which can read the seismic hazard, reading the seismic graph, which will help us to identify what is the intensity of the earthquake. Accordingly, measures can be taken. We can evacuate the people, and not only that, if I would like to indicate you all that Japan is a country which is under, it is a place where the various tectonic plates meet. That could be one of the reasons. Japan faces several disasters, and earthquake is one of the disasters that it has gone through several times in the past decades. What we can do is, we can conduct seismic hazard assessment, we can conduct geological surveys which will help us to identify what are those areas which are known as earthquake prone areas. Better not to construct building, not to tell people to reside there, in order to avoid losses of life of many people. Otherwise, it will damage not only the properties, not only the areas or the places that we are going to create, but also the human. Apart from this, every area, every building should be given certain codes and standards. Japan, which is actually a earthquake-prone country, still, despite of several heavy earthquake shakes, they are still able to save their buildings, save the lives of the people. How? Because of the designs of the building. Based on the codes and standards, based on the area where exactly the buildings would be created, it will help the architecture to design the building as per the requirement of that place. And again, it will help to save more lives. Apart from that, public awareness should be given. People should be educated what they should do at the time of earthquake in order to save their lives. Okay, it should be general guidelines should be provided to the school-going students, to all the various communities in order to save their lives. There should be early warning system. Basically, for earthquake detection, there should be seismic sensor which will help us to identify where exactly the possible earthquake may happen in future, at what date and time, so that we can either evacuate the place or else we can create enough awareness among the people so that they can save their lives. Let's move to the next. Let's talk about the disaster which is cyclone. What is cyclone? Cyclone is also known as hurricanes. Cyclone is also known as typhoon. Cyclone, whether it is hurricane, whether it is typhoon, it's nothing but a powerful tropical storm. It's a storm which happens in tropical area. Let me just tell you, India is also a country which falls under tropical region. Since India is a country which falls under a tropical region, there is a high possibility that we see cyclone in India. Okay, which can be also said as hurricane, which can be also said as typhoon. It creates a disaster. Lot of lives get lost, cattle, farmland, properties get destroyed. So what can we do in order to avoid it? Early warning and forecasting. The meteorological monitoring and forecasting. Well, it is a department which talks about where are the possible cyclones which can take place. The department, that is meteorological department, will help us to identify which are the possible ways where this may happen, so that we can evacuate the people, we can take them the necessary steps that they may take in order to save their property and life. Apart from this, we always need to do a risk assessment. That is, what are the possible risks, what are the areas which are cyclone prone areas, so that we can guide the people, we can educate the people, so that they can be provided enough shelter, enough restructuring from the disasters, so that they can save their life at the right time. That's one, two. Let us talk about the last disaster that we have in our syllabus, that is landslide. Well, it is a geological phenomenon. A geological phenomena which is characterized by movement of mass of rocks. The mass of rocks slides and glides from the mountain or from a slopey area. As a result, it causes landslides. The landslides may vary depending upon its form, depending upon its size, depending upon the area where exactly it is occurring. However, landslides can also be managed. Risk assessment and hazard mapping can be done with the help of geological survey, tropical assessment, which will help us to understand and identify what are those landslide prone areas wherein we can tell the people to evacuate from there